Alright guys, so I am getting an itch to do another PC build. I have everything I need except for a case. I want the smallest size case that a full-sized ATX motherboard can fit into. It's gotta look good, and I need it to be inexpensive. Less than $60. So I hop on my trusty PC, and I'm trying to find a case on Newegg.com, right? Well, the more I scroll down, the more let down I am because none of these cases can fit my graphics card. And if it can fit my graphics card, it sure as heck can't fit my full-size ATX motherboard. So I'm looking for a sign from God here. What case can work for me? Where is it? And then I hop upon this. The Phanteks P300 Eclipse. Now, I'm not saying that this is a brand new case, but it's got everything that I need. It could fit my large GTX 1060 Asus ROG Strix. It has a tempered glass side panel. It's got dust filters on the intakes. It's compact. It's got solid cable management. It's got RGB. So you have a few options here when it comes to mounting fans on the P300. You can mount either two 140mm fans or two 120mm fans. You're also capable of mounting up to a 280mm radiator here for your liquid AIOs or a custom water loop. For your exhaust fan, they included one 120mm fan. Unfortunately, the only fan that comes included with the case is that exhaust fan. It's up to you to buy the other ones. And on top of the case, you can mount either a 140mm or 120mm fan. There's also room for a 120mm radiator here. The P300 does not come with rubber grommets, and I thought this was going to be an issue, aesthetically speaking, but it actually looks really good without rubber grommets. The team over at Phanteks really did a phenomenal job when it came to cable routing and cable management here. They give you plenty of cable tie-downs, there's plenty of lanes and places to put your cables, there's a lot of room back here even though it's a small case. And they even give you this nice branded Phanteks Velcro cable, which is a nice touch, I thought. Let's take a look at what the accessory pack contains. Inside the accessory box, you're going to find 5 or 6 black zip ties, plenty of fan screws, screws for your power supply, a few thumb screws, and a few extra motherboard standoffs should your motherboard need it. This case has a really good dust filtration system as well, and that's surprising considering this is only a $60 case. Your air intakes are these two rather small holes in the front of the case on the front panel, and right behind it you will see there's 2 wire mesh dust filters. These can easily be removed and cleaned under a faucet, and then can be replaced with ease. And as you saw earlier in the video, the power supply fan has its own dust filter as well. And since we're talking about power supplies, since this is a compact mid-tower, there's not much room to work with below the power supply shroud. Power supplies measuring more than 160mm in length probably won't work in this case. Stick with the smaller form factor power supplies and you'll be okay. Just a tip when building in this case, to have the cables in the power supply before installing it. This will make your life so much easier when it comes to routing your cables. As you can see, there's not much room in here. For storage, you have 2 hard drive trays in the front panel that are compatible with 2.5-inch SSDs, and these hard drive trays are installed in such a way so that you have to put your hard drive with the cable inputs facing outwards. This is done on purpose so that you have room to route your cables and plug them into your hard drive. If you were to install the hard drive in such a way that your SATA cable inputs were facing the power supply, you'd have no room to plug in your SATA cables into the hard drive. Under the side panel, you'll see that there is a removable 2.5-inch SSD holder here. There is room for 2 of these, but this case only comes with 1. And on top of the case, you have your usual suspects: the microphone input, the headphone jack input, and the power button. You also have the RGB selector here, and that will change the color on the side of the case. I believe there's something like 6 colors you can choose from. I did run into one slight problem when doing this build. I used an MSI Z370 M5 gaming motherboard, and the I/O shroud cover and the VRM heatsink cover for the motherboard was getting in the way of me plugging in my CPU cable, that 8-pin CPU cable. It just would not let me plug it in because there was no fucking room, dude. And it was pissing me off so much. It literally took me like 25 minutes to plug that damn CPU cable in. I had to contort my arm in such a way, like just the right angle to get my hand down in there and plug it in. And it was fucking painful. So just know that if the motherboard you're using has gigantic plastic things on top of the VRMs and your I/O, you might have an issue plugging in your CPU cable. But obviously not everyone's going to run into this problem because they're not going to have massive pieces of plastic on top of their VRMs or I/O covers. Other than that, I had such a great experience. You could really tell Phanteks took the time when designing these grommetless cable holes that you route your cables through, because the build looked super clean when I was done with it. Cables weren't everywhere. They were just nicely in their correct place, and I couldn't see back into the grommetless holes and see all these cables going everywhere. They really took time designing that, and I really appreciated that. Overall, I love this case. The more I look at it, the more I work with it, the more it grows on me. So if you're looking for a small, compact case that's going to fit your full-sized ATX motherboard and looks premium, ticks off all the check marks for what premium cases have, look no further, man. The Phanteks P300 is it. Stop looking. This is it. Buy this case. $60. Go. Newegg, Amazon, whatever. Tiger Direct, if it still exists, I don't know. Just buy it.